we're gonna start with this tweet here from Well Panda that states, checking the comments on Bitcoin articles on mainstream media websites. Ponzi's, criminals, money laundering, Ponzi, cyber terrorists, Ponzi, not backed by anything, Ponzi, blockchain, not Bitcoin, Ponzi, tulips, ransomware, Ponzi. Okay, I think we're good. We're still early. The bull market is just starting. We're not at the top. People are not being euphoric. People are not taking left and right loans in order to buy more crypto. And yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Bitcoin rally. Is just getting started, says Matti Greenspan. So what this very bullish person is saying is that we might be getting candles of 250% gains per day. What has happened when we moved from 19k to 23k was a what is it, like a 15-20% move in a few days, but the rally all the way up to 19k was over the span of a few weeks. And what this person is talking about is 250% gains for a day. Anyway, if we're gonna get that or no, he's saying that the bear market is definitely gonna come regardless if it's gonna be at 23.8k or at $1 million per coin. And he's stating that the Guggenheim's partners, Scott Miller, that is saying that his price target is at $400,000 per coin, mainly based on the similarities between Bitcoin and gold, and expecting Bitcoin to have the same market as gold. I personally expect Bitcoin to have a lot higher market cap. The market cap of gold is like, what, 10 trillion less, and we've printed that amount of money just this year. I'm talking about just US dollars. Anyway, moving on to a tweet that is talking about the numbers of Bitcoin addresses that contain 1 million USD or more, and you can see here that they've spiked. However, though, this is a bit of a faulty statistic, because what has happened pretty much is that the addresses with 50 Bitcoins that were mined in the first 3 years and a half of the Bitcoin history, when the block reward was 50 Bitcoins, pretty much all of them became 1 million USD worth. And this is why we have this insane spike. We can see here during the 2017 bull run, a lot of addresses also went to a million worth more, but they had over 50 Bitcoins, and this is why we didn't have the same spike here, because we did not cross the $20,000 price. Anyway, moving on to while Bitcoin is making all new time highs, it's interesting to note that the Google trends is still low. So this is pretty much the retail. Are they following in? Nope, no, they are not. We at all time high last time, 2017. You can see the Google trends for Bitcoin, and now we can see pretty much we are like 1/10 of what it used to be. So the retail is still sleeping. It's the institutional investors who are bringing in the cash and who are buying out all the limited supply Bitcoins with the unlimited supply of US dollars. Do you guys think Saylor is buying yet? As we know that he took a $650 million loan to buy more Bitcoin after running dry on money. And there was this comment somewhere here, I can't find it, but it was stating, no, he's waiting for the CME gap to be filled, which is at $16,000. And yeah, most probably he isn't waiting for that. So not sure, but it's funny that a lot of people mocked him for buying the top at 11k, then mocked him again at 19k because he was buying Bitcoin at 11k when it was at not all-time high, but highest in the year, and then he was buying again at 19k, and he disclosed that I bought for 50 million, whatever it was, 2,500 Bitcoin at the price of 19k, 9.6k or whatever it was, and people were like, oh my god, this guy is following in, oh my god, really at this price? When we're in a bull market, it's the norm to buy at an all-time high, because we're constantly making all-time highs. If I open TradingView for a second here, and if I zoom out, you can see here in 2017, this line here that they drew, this one, is connecting the previous all-time high from 2013, which is 1200, to here when we cross it in 2016-17. So here we can see how in January 2017 crossed for the first time, then here. So anyone buying here at 1270, he's buying at all-time high. Yeah, he dipped. Yeah, he was at a loss with 30%, but just like what? 2 months later, if that, he's already at a profit. And then whoever bought here, he bought an all-time high, and it was a dumb mistake, right? And then it dips, but then goes much higher. Whoever bought here definitely messed up, right? Because if you measure this dip is 35%. So if he invested $10,000, he had 6.5k. But then we rally up. Consolidation, we rally up. Consolidation, we rally up. So this is how it is in a bull market. You always constantly buy at an all-time high. This is just how it is. So buying here, where we are right now, this line is supposed to be here. There we go. So we just crossed the all-time high from last time, right? We just crossed it. I'm gonna put it here. Oops. We just crossed it. So now, officially, not only that we are at the all-time high, we absolutely smashed it. Yeah, about here. And also, again, zooming out, let me even go to a weekly chart. We can see, last time we smashed it. This time we smash it. What do you expect? I personally expect the same thing. I expect much higher price. If this bull market dwarfs like this one, I would expect that we are going to dwarf this one up to like here. So at least 130,000, and most probably with a spike much higher. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's not just speculate and talk about the price. Let's move on to some more news and interesting tweets that are worth taking a look at. Don't be like this. Just don't be. Don't be mad that you missed the train. Don't do the mistake. Like a friend of mine who just told me that he wanted to buy more on Monday, but the price spiked. What do we do now? Do we wait for a dip? Do we buy at 30k? I don't know. Maybe dollar cost average. Maybe just don't risk it. If you haven't put the money you would like to put in crypto and hodl for at least, I don't know, 6 months, preferably a year, which is nothing. Like, is this even hodling? 6 months a year? Really? That's hodling? What's hodling is going through a bear market, being on minus 60, minus 70, minus 80%, being balls deep in oats, getting smashed to 5% worth of the value that you've put in crypto. This is hodling. Buying at the beginning of the bull market is most probably like the best time to buy, which is right now. And it's kind of completely pointless to debate if, I don't know, I would like to buy at 19k, I would like to buy at 15k. Really? Really? You don't want to buy at 23k when you're gonna go to most probably 100 to 300,000, maybe even higher. Anyway, moving on to Twitter. Loses its mind over a rapper's 1 million Bitcoin giveaway worth $100 each. So, on 17th of December, which is yesterday, the post has received more than 60,000 likes, 8,800 retweets. The rapper encouraged her followers to post Bitcoin MEC in order to be a part of the giveaway. I'm giving away 1 million Bitcoin to as many hotties as I can. And one user claimed to have purchased Tesla after misreading that he received $50,000 instead of 50,000 Satoshi. And here is, I refresh the page so we can see actually the pictures. So she partnered up with Cash App, Jack Dorsey, and to give away 50,000 Satoshis, which is $11 per person. And here is the tweet of the guy receiving the message saying you got 50,000 sats and he told $50,000. Most probably it's a joke, but still it's funny. Anyway, doesn't matter. Moving on to here is her Twitter. I really hope I don't have issues with this. I really hope that this is accepted content for YouTube, and I'm not gonna unmute, so I don't have copyright violations or something. But top. Moving on to her. Actually, there you go. People are responding and actually receiving the 50,000 Satoshi in Cash App, and one user has said, "Don't convert. The whole point of this is to raise awareness and people to understand Bitcoin. Dollars are garbage. 30% of all dollars were printed this year." By the way, this is very interesting statistics that if you don't know by any chance, 35% of all US dollars in existence have been printed in the past 10 months. Google it. It's insane. On the other hand, the rate of the new supply of Bitcoin have been cut in half. Bitcoin will grow exponentially against the dollar because it's scarce. Moving on to Yeah, anyway, some more advertisement of her. So, a museum should be opened when Bitcoin hits 100K, a museum of featuring tweets of all the no coiners hating Bitcoin. And yeah, and here is Peter Schiff. One Bitcoin is $362. November 2013 says to me, looks like a modern day tulip mania. That would be amazing. Be sure to get posts from Federation of Financial Subreddits as well. I got a reminder set 7 years ago on some of them because they said they would beat Bitcoin. I would be happy to submit the post but they got banned on personal finance 2 years ago for suggesting Bitcoin dollar cost average as a long-term investment strategy, which in the past 2 years we've been in a bear market. So definitely dollar cost average for long term, putting 10% of your spare income in Bitcoin, I don't know, it's going to be actually a quite good idea today, because you are going to be at least at 3 times your savings, at least. Wrapped Ethereum comes to Tezos. That's all I'm gonna say, but it's very interesting. We have wrapped BTC on Ethereum. Now we're gonna have wrapped Ethereum and on Tezos. All of these chains interacting with each other and moving assets from one to the other, encapsulating it, freezing it, holding it, and then being able to transfer the value on another chain that is redeemable 100% for the value from the first chain. Bitcoin transaction fees doubled this week. I haven't highlighted anything from the article. I just want to say this is the mempool, and here we can see how it spiked. And 2 months ago we had a similar spike, and back in 2017 it was even bigger. But going back to, let's say, 3 months graph, we can see vividly that at the moment a transaction that is gonna happen immediately costs you 120 Satoshi. And just a few days ago, if I go to let's say a week, just a few days ago it was costing you 5 Satoshi. Here you go. Just 3 days ago, 5 Satoshi to be in the next block, and now right now it's costing you 120 Satoshi to be in the next block. Anyway, moving on to Wrapped Finance hit with 8 million DeFi flash on attack. I've covered a bunch of these. They have been going constantly. The exploiter was able to remove 7.7 million of stable coins. The team has planned to recover approximately 5.5, and they will distribute them back to the people who lost their money. The protocol announced itself at the end of October, and it launched on 9th of December. Today's 18th of December. So literally 9 days later, they get hacked and a bunch of funds are getting stolen. Moving on to urgent plea to prevent a auction of 1.6 billion worth of Bitcoin, 1.6 US dollars worth of Bitcoin, seized from the Silk Road hacker. So Pierre Richard has made an urgent plea to lawmakers to instead create a strategic Bitcoin reserve and fuel it with Bitcoin seized by law enforcement. So his Bitcoin Maximalist says that within the next 6 months, these will be sold unless we act on it. We need to get this law passed very quickly so that we can stop the auction. In his book, Richard emphasized that the past auctions of more than 144,000 Bitcoin in 2014-2015 generated only 122 million US dollars, while those crypto assets would today fetch more than 3.3 billion. So 30 times higher value today, which is 5 years later. So he continues with the expeditious auction of seized Bitcoin was, in my view, and with the benefit of the hindsight, a mistake. I should suggest that the United States will reap more value by holding onto the Bitcoin long term. The Federal Reserve can create an infinite quantity of US dollars that the proceeds received in the auction. So you're selling the Bitcoin, you're getting US dollars that you can print unlimited quantity of anyway. So what's the point to sell something for something that you can just mint into existence out of thin air? Bitcoin cannot be created out of thin air, and there is a limited quantity of them. A large strategic reserve of Bitcoin may be crucial for our national security. I would like to comment on this. So, I've said this multiple times and I'm gonna say it again. The geeks were the ones that drove the first bull run and were acting on the first halving and on the bull run that followed the first halving. And then the plebs like me, the retail, got involved in the 2016-2017 bull market. Some people made some money, some people lost some money. Yesterday I covered on the Bulgarian YouTube channel an article about a flight attendant that lost his job now due to all the corona situation, and he has $100,000 loan that he has to repay, and he bought with it Bitcoin at pretty much the very top in 2017. Finally now he can sell at a profit and cover the loan, but he's already in financial troubles. Anyway, so that was 2016-2017, the retail, the plebs like us. This year, 2020, due to Corona, due to the infinite printing of money, due to 35% of all US dollars being printed this year, the institutional investors, the hedge fund managers, the insurance companies, the high net worth individuals started buying Bitcoin with 5, 10, 50% of their, 100% of their reserve or money that they have. To me, retail right now is completely irrelevant. 1,000 people purchasing Bitcoin each for $1,000 is $1 million. Yay, go Bitcoin, go retail. And then we have the news of these institutions buying Bitcoins for $600, $700, $800 million. We have Michael Saylor purchasing $100 million with his own money, $400 with his company, and then taking a loan of $650 million to purchase more Bitcoin. The retail could never do that. We're completely irrelevant. The price moves will be completely in the hands of the institutions. We're completely irrelevant at this point. It's still good. We went through the Google Trends chart. We saw how Bitcoin interest from retail is 10% from the all-time high in 2017. We're not there yet. In 1 year, we will be there. Everyone will be buying Bitcoin. Oh, the retail. They will be late to the party. They just won't know it. They won't have the financial education. They wouldn't have had the experience in Bitcoin, understand the cycles, understand how the halving affects the price and so on. And they will be buying at the top. There will be a bear market again, and they will get messed up. They will sell at a loss and so on. But it is what it is. What can you do? But yeah, this year is the institutions. And next halving, 4 years from now, it will be the countries, the one driving the price up. The governments of the world. We already covered a news about the China government not selling the crypto that they seized from, I forgot which exchange it was. They did not sell. They held on to it. If US passes this legislation and they don't sell the Bitcoin that they seized, 1.6 billion worth of Bitcoin right now. If we do 20x, this 1.6 billion will be like, what is it? Let's say 35 billion worth of crypto. Which is still nothing. They printed trillions, which is completely irrelevant. But it's important to start somewhere. It's important to start holding. And if US does this, it will set up a precedent. Immediately, Russia, China, all the great powers, EU as a whole, will start hodling, investing, mining Bitcoin. It's the same story with the mining. Who is the first miner? Obviously Satoshi Nakamoto. Who is the second one? I don't know, someone from that mailing list. Some geek that decided to try it out. And I say geek in a good sense, like much more quality and knowledgeable and important people than me. I'm not playing it down by saying the word geek. I don't mean that. Anyway, so, and then eventually people started mining on their laptops, then eventually on their gaming rigs, then eventually ASIC miners popped up. Great, but you could still buy an ASIC miner, put it at your living room and mine. Today, we have businesses built around mining. They go to the places where the cheapest electricity is. And this is a very competitive business where optimizing your processes and making sure that you have the most absolutely optimized cost, the minimum cost that you can achieve is crucial. Just the other day I covered news about, I think it was in the previous episode of What's Up with Crypto, I covered about the liquid cooling that they want to integrate in a Texas US-based mining rigs. Anyway, all of this being said, first it was the geeks, then it was the retail, now it's the institutions. In 4 years, it will be the governments. In 4 years, Bitcoin will be worth $1 million each. So if you're, waiting for the CME gap to be filled at 16,000, think about what you're risking by doing that. Moving on to, I just sold, thank you. By investing in Bitcoin, and now selling, I saved myself 5 years of paying student loan. Thank you, bastards, for the beautiful and hectic ride. Congrats, man. Student loan are the worst righteous use of one's BTC in my view. Congrats, did you sell it all or are you still holding some? I sold most of it, but I am still holding some. I'm curious, with all the talk of forgiving student loans by Biden, why would you sell now? Why not wait and see if they actually implement that? Spoiler alert, they won't forgive the loans. Moving on to, just wanted to say congratulations to all the holders from a no-coiner perspective, and he's saying how in our investing they're salty and they're constantly going with the usual stuff, bubble, greater fools, blah blah blah, you're gonna sell to the greater fool, and how when Bitcoin is going down, oh it's dead, finally it's crashing, it's going to zero, when it starts going up, oh it's a bubble, and you remember that clip? Don't buy Bitcoin, because you know it's going to crash again. This one time, Bitcoin went to 36 cents and then it crashed all the way down to 5 cents or whatever it was. And then this one time, Bitcoin went to $115 and then it crashed all the way down to $28. The best clip ever that you should really make a remake with the bull market and then following bear market from 2017. Come here, let me hug you with my diamond hands. That's what we're talking about. In order to be actually a hodler, you have to hold through at least one full bear market. I just wanted to say that I bet a coworker of mine that Bitcoin surpassed $20,000 before June of 2021. This was sometimes last year. He said no way we would ever reach that high. And now we're already there. Anyway, so what's happening here? Oops. The law about the regulating the exchanges and forcing them when someone wants to withdraw to do KYC and confirm is this your wallet or whose wallet is it, is still on the table. They have time until January to do that. This will be a big hiccup if this gets passed. It's important to know the answer of what's happening with this US Treasury legislation. Moving on to, I forgot to post this one yesterday. My boss thanking me for staying late at work. Me who has been checking the Bitcoin price and shit posting on Twitter and was struck of time. Moving on to saying no intrinsic value signals stupidity. And I would like to comment on this briefly. So to me, money should not have intrinsic value. They don't need to have intrinsic value. The only thing that they need to have is two things: to be fair and to have trust in them. Obviously, the monetary distribution matters, the production or printing, whatever you call it, of new tokens would matter and so on, but it's very important to have trust in it, and this trust is exactly built on all of these characteristics. If you don't like them, you're not going to have trust in the system. And people say that gold has intrinsic value. Yeah, it does. It has some amazing physical properties, but what are you really going to use gold for other than just money? And obviously, except in manufacturing. But if you actually want to use gold as money, are you really dependent on it having value? If you actually have a zombie apocalypse or you have a meteor striking Earth, the only thing that's gonna matter is water, food, ammunition, guns, and fuel for vehicles, if there's any working vehicles. That's it. Literally, no one cares about anything else. Only things that actually have value in a scenario like that. Gold has no value in a scenario like that. Literally, it doesn't have value. This is why money in a functional society, it doesn't need to have value. It just doesn't. All it has to be is fair, and you have to have trust in it. The bigger the network it is, the more trust you have in the network, because more people are vested into it. And therefore, yeah, literally, the intrinsic value of Bitcoin comes from the fact that it's permissionless, it's decentralized, yada, 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 yada. So therefore, it has value, but I wouldn't call it an intrinsic value. You cannot eat it, you cannot touch it, and so on. But you don't need to do that, because money is a technology and it's an abstraction. You're not supposed to build houses with the money. You're not supposed to build jewelry or electrical devices with the money. Why would you do that? No, you want something, because it's technology. Now you want something that can be transferred with the speed of light, that is inflation immune, that is fair. You want Bitcoin? Mine it. You don't want to mine it? Buy it. Simple as that. The more hash power you supply, the more of the Bitcoin reward you receive. That's it. Simple as that. I think it's fair. And of course, whoever bought earlier, whoever bought more, is better off right now. Why isn't this fair? Bitcoin is not communism. All Bitcoin offers you, it's not saying that there won't be any hungry children in Africa. It's not saying that everyone will have the same, will all have the latest iPhone. No, all it's saying is that the way that the newly printed money will be distributed will be in a fair way, not being given as loans to the rich people that already are rich, and they can literally mint money into existence, use it, buy assets that appreciate faster than the inflation that is being put on top of everyone else. Anyway, rant off, moving on to another coiner exactly talking about how purchasing Bitcoin at $80,000, now the price at $23,000, you haven't made any money. That's not a $5,000 profit. Until you sell, it's not profit. And I'm just gonna comment this, just a second, where is it? Isn't this how the stock market works? If you actually believe this, this is how exactly the stock market works. Because if you buy a certain share, let's say $300, and the share goes to $500, did you make a profit or no? Or you're not making until you sell? And I'd like to also read this comment. So I once bought a house. It was in profit, meaning he bought it for $300,000 and then it had $500,000, random numbers. The banker gave me more money to buy another house because I was in profit from the first house, even though I haven't sold. I'm not gonna comment on that. Peter Schiff tweets on 3rd of here during the Corona crash, on 9th of March, nothing you have Bitcoin, put a fork in it, it's done, it's right here. And now we are at a 500% profit, 490. Poor Peter Schiff, actually going to ruin his reputation. He's such a clever guy, such a smart guy. I've learned so much from him. So much. And he's literally gonna ruin himself. He's gonna go down in history as the worst investment ever, instead of the Milton of 20th century. 21st century, sorry. To the guy who said he bought his first Bitcoin the other day. People have been scolding him. I already went through this. In a bull market, you buy at the all-time high. That's absolutely normal. And people were scolding him and telling him, why would you buy at the all-time high? Pretty dumb to buy at the near all-time high when it was 19 hours. You're not a smart puppy. They were calling him when he bought at 19K. It's a bull market. We're gonna hit 50K. Is it gonna be a mistake to buy at 50K? What about when we're at 100K? Is it gonna be a mistake? Of course, sooner or later, we're gonna be the top, sooner or later. But what Bitcoin shows over and over and over again is that we have a bull market, we have a correction, and then we have a bull market again. That's how it works. Just hodl. Hodl if you were inexperienced and you bought at the wrong time. Again, here it is. People had to hodl for years, and then they made 20x. People had to hodl for years, and we're gonna make a 20x. And one important thing, super quick rant on this. Me saying stuff like that, I can just hear people in the back of my head saying, oh, this is a Ponzi scheme, this is a pyramid scheme, you're just selling to the greater fool. That is true for a zero-sum games. Forex is a zero-sum game. What value do you create by purchasing and selling dollar? You don't create any, with euros or yen and so on. You don't create any value. At any transaction where you purchase the dollar and you sell your euro and you make profit, there is someone on the other side making a loss. That's how it works. It is indeed a zero-sum game. Bitcoin is a new emerging technology that is going to solve so many problems. That is going to make the global economy system, monetary system, so much more efficient and so much less corrupt and fair. This creates value. The value exponentially grows. So it's not a zero-sum game, and it will never be. Never will be. Just recently on a Bulgarian podcast, they were discussing how the retail banks are offering crypto custody, and they have to, because they will literally get bankrupt. When the CBDCs are out, the central bank digital currency, and everyone has an account with the central bank, why do we need retail banks? Why? The central bank is always going to give me a better rate, and I'm going to trust the central bank more than a retail bank. After all, the central bank is the one that prints the money, right? They have the full power, they have the full control. Why would I trust someone else? Why? Doesn't make any sense. And this is why they have to pretty much work with the crypto community and custody their crypto. And we'll see how many services they will offer, having in mind the DeFi will come to play. And the efficiency will be so high that a lot of people working in the banking industry will lose their jobs. And then, is this a bad thing? Is the next question. People losing their jobs. It sounds bad, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. I'll tell you what it means. It means we become more efficient, and with less work, we achieve the same output. That being said, today, what is the price of, I don't know, like a loaf of bread where you live? What is the price today? What was it 20 years ago? Was it less or more? And now the question is, why is it worth more in dollars, pounds, euro, whatever? Why? Did the people who make the bread like died and there is no new ones that know how to do it? And now their salaries are more expensive? Don't we use machines now? If machine replaces 10 workers and the machine costs a lot of money, but it's supposed to, make up the investment, doesn't this mean that at the end, the cost to produce the bread is less? If the cost is less, why is the bread higher price? Why 20 years ago people retired at 60? Why now we cannot retire at 70? Why am I expected to retire at 80? Aren't we getting more efficient with all the technology and investment? Am I not supposed to work 5 hours a day now instead of 8 hours? In a future where there is no corruption, in a future where Bitcoin is the dominant currency, the way I see it is that people will not need to work more than 10-15 years. In 10-15 years of labor, trading their time for monetary energy, they will accumulate enough to be able to retire and live off that accumulated energy. Because for just that time, they're going to produce so much that they're going to consume such a little portion of this that they produced, that the encapsulated energy, monetary energy, that then can be transferred in everything else, electrical energy, whatever energy you want, you'll be able to live off of it. And where you put it? You put it in Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin will not have the insane inflation that fiat money has. At the moment, the issue is that, again, why are the rich people getting richer? We all know the saying, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. Why is that? Because of the printing of the money. Literally, they have control over you. You're forced to pay your taxes in the currency that you use in your country. You're forced. You're gonna go to jail if you don't pay your taxes, period. At the same time, if you don't like the currency, don't like the fact that they're gonna print X amount of trillions of money, if you don't like that, is there a referendum for everyone to give their vote? Do you wanna print money? No, they're just doing it. And then people are saying, why are you paying taxes if we can just print money? That's the thing. It's exactly the same thing. Printing money is a tax. This year, we printed 35% of your US dollars in existence. This is literally a tax on everyone. 35% on everyone. Whatever you had, 35% is gone. Rant off, moving on. Man accidentally threw away 127 million in Bitcoin and officials won't allow a search. He pretty much had 7,500 Bitcoins and it went into a dumpster and they're not allowing to search it because of environmental issues. And now these 7,500 Bitcoin are worth, actually because this older article, at $17,000, it's worth, it was worth 100 and something million. I can't find it. Where is it? 127 million. And today, and especially in continuing of the bull market, this person is gonna lose even much more money. He got the Bitcoin, he mined them back when you could mine them easily, and he kept them just in case if it goes up. Or he's destroyed my seed, pin. Interesting story on Reddit. I really don't want to go through it because the video is quite long already. Just two news that I wanted to cover yesterday. I covered them in the Bulgarian channel, but I didn't in the English one. So Ruffer investment confers massive Bitcoin by 744 million. That means that guy. $744 million. And then we talk about the retails. Dude, do you know how many retails need to invest in order to get this amount of money in Bitcoin? That's what I'm saying. The retails are completely irrelevant. Now is the time for the institutions. They're pumping it up. And by pumping it up again, it's not a fucking Ponzi scheme. What it is a new technology that is amazing. It's gonna change the world, literally. And I know how crazy this might sound for people who don't understand why, but it is what it is. And yeah, anyway. And the same article, information by Nasdaq, they put 2.5% of their 20 billion, which is 500 million, but this is not in dollars, this was in pounds, so this is why it's worth $740 million. Anyway, see you in the next video.